Hi everyone, this is Lynn and welcome back to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. Today I have a baby card to share with you using the Favorite Somebunny from My Favorite Things in combination with the 3 Room Studio Mini Slimline die from Crafty Meraki. First of all, I have die cut this 3 Room Studio Mini Slimline from Oceanside Cardstock. This one is from Concord and 9th. And I'm going to do some ink blending. Now you can also start with a white panel and die cut it and then do some ink blending. This is just a quick and easy way to have a background quite quickly ready to go. So first of all, I have my white pigment ink here. This one is called Unicorn pigment ink from Hues, and I am just using the cloud stencil from My Favorite Things to get it sort of in a dreamy, cloudy vibe. So I'm going to twist and turn this stencil around to make sure that I have different clouds everywhere, and that's how I will build up this scene. Now with that beautiful white, you have sort of the vibe of having a light blue and then a darker blue coming from underneath the clouds, but then really quickly. So twisting and turning, as I said, and I'm going to do that sort of almost right until the top, but there I will add a bit of blue to just make it a bit darker on top. I don't need to, but I thought that it was a bit interesting to add it like that. So that's why I also took some distress inks. I took Black Soot as well, but I didn't use it in the end. I'm just using faded jeans on the top of this panel to, well, give it some interest. So here is the faded jeans. I'm just going to ink blend on the top. I'm not going to completely fill it up. I also took a post-it note to help me not get my fingers in that pigment ink, because that is going to stay wet quite a long time, and if you put your fingers in it, it will get a bit ruined. You will see there was one area where I already had some issues, but I'm going to fix that really quickly before I will splatter some white gouache on top. So here I just searched for the edge that I used, and then I fixed those fingers that I had on top there. I'm going to add some white splatters using some gouache, and so wherever I have any mistakes left, I hope to be able to cover it with the splatters, because splatters, you barely can control them. So I'm just going to splatter it all over. These splatters will be quite tiny, really subtle in my opinion, but I added quite a lot as well. I love adding white splatters whenever I have a sky, a night sky, or a snowy sky, or anything like that. Is a good excuse to add some splatters, and it always gives this lovely effect. Once I'm happy with splatters, I am going to do the coloring. So here I have my images from the Favorite Somebunny, from My Favorite Things, and I'm using my Copic Markers to color it in. The paper that I have here is Transotype Perfect Coloring Paper, and I stamped it out using Obsidian Black Gina K Designs Amalgam ink. And now I'm using my Copic Markers to color it in. I prefer coloring from darkest to lightest marker, but you can color however you prefer. There are many ways to color with your alcohol markers. It's just important to have fun and get that end result that you prefer. And if you need to start with your lightest marker for that, then you do that. For me, the darkest towards lightest technique works the best. What I also noticed about this paper and using my Copic markers is that I prefer the end result when I have at least 2 layers. I think it helps with the blend. And from time to time I can see that I have more space where I can add shadows, and then I just add them the second time around. So I'm doing that really simple coloring. I am adding the shadows on the right side of the images, also the side where their back is sort of facing towards. That's always a handy way to decide where your shadow is going. And then the bunny I am going to do quite soft, with a light color combination. Why? Because it's going to be a baby card, and I said it in other videos as well. I think every time I'm making a baby card, I'm trying to sort of find lighter color combinations, because it is, while lighter colors for me is also the same as a bit cuter or sweeter or anything like that. So that's why I went for this combination. It's one that I use all the time. It's a great brown combination if you ask me. It's E33, E53 and E51. If you need another color to add because you have large images, then you can also add E50 to this combination. And as you can see, I'm just building up my image, going from darkest to lightest. For the clothing of the bunny, I decided to go with the same colors that I had in the background. So I went for some BGs. You will see it after my second layer here. And I really like how it turned up and looked quite similar to the background that I have. So for the stars, I'm just adding it on one side, but you can die cut these stars and then they are all separate. You can twist and turn them if you want to. If you prefer another layout, you can do another layout. Anything is possible. So that's really handy. So these stars are all getting the same colors. That's just simple and easy. And then here I'm doing those blues, as I said. I'm also trying to not go right against the edge with my darkest marker, just to have sort of the illusion that this image is really rounded and that there is more to see than just what you can see as in 2D, you know? It's something that I saw by Amy Young and I have tried it out. I really like how it turns out, so that's what I try to do. And then I use some sort of a lighter marker that I have in my combination to fill up that white space that I still have. Most of the time it's my mid-tone that I have in that combination. And then these stripes, I want to keep them white but still with a bit of a shadow, so that's why I use that BG10 to add to those stripes. So now that everything is die cut, I can start assembling. I still need to make sure that I have my sentiment, which will be just boy. You can change it up, you can do other colors, you can add girl. You can also add baby if you want to, and just leave it neutral and ready to go with any occasion or any gender of babies. I decided to go with boy because last week I made a baby card with pinks. If you remember, if you didn't see it, definitely check it out. It was also with a combination of Crafty Meraki and My Favorite Things products. But that one was a pink one, so now going to the blues and making sure that I have the other occasion in my cards that I have ready to send. So I'm going to add some thin foam squares on the back of every image except the stars. Those I will add immediately onto my panel. And I sort of did the layout. There are many ways again to change up the layout and still have only a few images to feature on this card. I went for this one. There is also another big bunny in the stamp set that can be on the other side if you want to. There are lots of ways to recreate this in a very unique and original way. So I hope that I can inspire you to maybe try something like this out, because it was a lot of fun to create. Here I'm adding the boy using some liquid glue. But again, you can change here. There is a lot of space. You can still make it baby, or it's a boy, or it's a girl, or you know, many possibilities. And that's what I like about these simple cards. While you are making them, you realize that there are so many more options than what you had in your head to create this card. So I added the stars. I'm not going to add any embellishments, but I'm going to add some glossy accents. Now, before I go with my glossy accents on top of my images and on the boy, I'm always going towards my tip of my finger. You can also do it on a scrap piece of paper, but when you start with your glossy accents, there is often a bit of air in the front of the bottle. If you add it just to a scrap piece of paper or to your finger, then you can remove those air bubbles from the bottle, and this way you can avoid those bubbles in your glossy accents. If you have that issue, then definitely try it out, because for me it works, so maybe it does for you as well. So this is my card, a bit of close-up. I love the glossy accents on the sentiment, well, on the boy. I hope you do too. A really simple baby card for today. I had a lot of fun creating it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can always give it a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate it. And I want to thank you all and wish you an incredible day. Bye!